folks. This video, I'm going to go over the process on how to set up and configure the micro SD card for your Raspberry Pi. First thing we got to do is we got to go to this website, https://raspberrypi.com/software. And in here, you can download the installer for your computer. In my case, I am using a Mac, so I am going to download the installer for Mac. You can also do it for Windows or Linux, depending on the operating system you're running. So download for Mac. Okay, and the installer has been downloaded to my computer. So I'm going to launch it. And then I'm going to look for it. And once I find it, I'm going to open. I'm going to say open anyways. And there we go. Now what I need to do is I need to select which Raspberry Pi I'm going to configure. So select Raspberry Pi 5, next. And for the Raspberry Pi 5, I want to download the 64-bit OS. Click on next. And now it's asking me to select the storage device. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug in my micro SD card into my computer and wait for it to be recognized. And there we go. Now I select the micro SD card, click on next. It's going to ask me to give it the host name I want to give it to. So in this case, I'm going to call it mini router. That's what I'm going to be doing with this Raspberry Pi. I'll click on next. Time zone, I'm going to put in Chicago. Keyboard layout US, click on next. The username, JLeo. Password, click on next. In this case, I am not going to configure Wi-Fi. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on next. And in here, I am going to enable SSH. The reason for it is because this Raspberry Pi is going to be managed via command line primarily. So I don't need to have a keyboard, mouse, and monitor connected to it. This is what it's called a headless setup. So I am going to enable that. And I'm going to say that I can use the authentication password that I just set on a step before. Click on next. I am not going to enable the Raspberry Pi Connect, but you can if you like. If you want to know what Raspberry Pi Connect is, you can click on it and it will give you the information. It's just basically a web interface that you can access the Raspberry Pi from. But in my case, I am not going to use that, so I am going to close this. I am not going to enable Raspberry Pi Connect. I'm going to click on next. And it's going to give me the summary of what I did. So the device is a Raspberry Pi, 64-bit OS, micro SD card. I got the host name, location ID, user account, and enabled SSH. So I'm going to click on right. And it's giving me this message saying that anything and everything currently in the SD card, if there's anything, it will be deleted. And the OS with the configurations we just said will be written in it. So I'm going to click on I understand, erase, and write. And these messages you may or may not see, since I am using an Apple computer, it's giving me this prompt. But if you're using a Windows or Linux, you might not see any of this. And if you do, just click on allow or permit on all and let it do its magic. And it's done right in the SD card. Now it's going to verify, making sure everything got written and it's not corrupted. Once the verification ends, we will be good to go and ready to insert the SD card in the Raspberry Pi and turn it on for the first time. Alright, and the verification process ended. Everything checks out, so I'm going to click on finish. And now to properly remove a USB device from a Mac computer, what I'm going to do is I am going to open terminal, and then I'm going to type in this command line. What this does is it's going to check and see if there are any USB devices connected to the computer. In this case, it's telling me that there is one, which is disk 2. Alright, and to remove it safely, I'm going to run this command line to eject the micro SD card in my case. So type in disk-util eject space /dev/n and whatever disk number is telling me that it's found connected to the computer. I'll click enter, and this disk has been ejected. Alright, and now the Raspberry Pi has the micro SD card in, USB connectors for the keyboard and mouse, micro display port, and I'm going to plug in power. Now it's coming up. There we go. The Raspberry Pi, it's on. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.